Why do some people completely transform their lives, while others stay stuck for years despite having big goals? Why do certain students become top performers? Why do some entrepreneurs build successful businesses slowly over time? Why do some people become healthier, wealthier, more disciplined, and more productive seemingly without dramatic overnight change? The answer is often smaller than you think. Most people focus on huge goals. Lose 50 pounds, become rich, build a business, get straight A's, become successful, change their entire life overnight. But lasting transformation usually doesn't happen through giant sudden changes. It happens through tiny repeated behaviors, small habits, daily systems, tiny decisions repeated consistently over time. That's the powerful idea behind atomic habits. Small habits may seem insignificant in the moment, but over months and years, they compound into extraordinary outcomes. In this video, we'll explore how habit architecture shapes your future, why small changes matter more than motivation, and how you can redesign your environment, routines, and mindset to create massive long-term results in 2026 and beyond. Because your life is often the result of what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally intend to do. Let's begin. The problem with goal obsession. Most people are obsessed with goals, but goals alone rarely create lasting success. Why? Because goals focus on outcomes. Habits focus on systems. For example, a goal is losing weight. A system is exercising consistently and eating healthier daily. A goal is starting a YouTube channel. A system is uploading consistently every week. A goal is financial freedom. A system is saving, investing, and controlling spending regularly. Goals are temporary. Systems create lifestyles. That's why many people achieve goals, then return to old habits afterward. Without behavioral change, results rarely last. Successful people often win because of routines, not motivation. Small habits create compound effects. One of the most powerful ideas in atomic habits is compounding. Tiny improvements repeated consistently create enormous long-term differences. Improving just 1% daily may seem insignificant initially, but over time, small growth compounds dramatically. This exponential growth curve represents how tiny, consistent improvements compound over time into massive long-term progress. The same works negatively too. Small bad habits compound. Overspending, procrastination. Poor sleep, constant distractions, negative thinking. Lack of exercise. At first, consequences seem invisible, but over years, habits shape identity, health, finances, and opportunities. That's why daily behaviors matter more than occasional intense effort. Consistency beats intensity long-term. Identity shapes habits. One of the deepest lessons from atomic habits is this: real behavior change begins with identity. Most people focus on outcomes. I want to write a book, but identity-based thinking says, I am a writer. That's different psychologically. Identity drives behavior. When habits become connected to identity, consistency becomes easier. Examples: I am someone who exercises. I am disciplined. I am financially responsible. I am a learner. I am a creator. Every repeated action reinforces identity, and every habit becomes a vote for the type of person you are becoming. That's powerful, because long-term success often depends on identity alignment. Environment often matters more than motivation. Most people think success depends mainly on willpower, but environment strongly influences behavior. For example, junk food visible at home increases unhealthy eating. Constant phone notifications reduce focus. Productive workspaces improve concentration. Surrounding yourself with disciplined people influences your habits positively. Human behavior is highly responsive to cues. That's why habit architecture matters. Designing your environment intelligently makes good habits easier and bad habits harder. Examples: keep books visible, remove distracting apps, prepare gym clothes ahead of time, automate savings, organize your workspace. Small environmental changes create surprisingly powerful behavioral effects, because disciplined systems often outperform motivation. Why motivation is unreliable. One of the biggest reasons people fail is depending entirely on motivation. Motivation changes constantly. Some days you feel inspired, other days you feel tired, stressed, distracted, or discouraged. That's normal. Successful people are not always more motivated. They often simply build systems that continue working even when motivation disappears. For example, scheduled routines, automated habits, time blocking, accountability systems, habit tracking, consistent environments. Discipline grows when actions become automatic. That's why habits matter so much. Habits reduce reliance on emotional energy. The 4 laws of habit change. One of the core frameworks in Atomic Habits involves designing behaviors intentionally. Here are simplified versions of the 4 laws. 1. Make it obvious, create visible reminders for good habits. For example, put study materials on your desk. Place workout clothes nearby. Keep healthy food accessible too. Make it attractive. Pair habits with enjoyment. People repeat behaviors they associate with positive feelings. 3. Make it easy. Reduce friction. Many people fail because they make habits too difficult initially. Start small. 4. Make it satisfying. Immediate rewards reinforce habits psychologically. Celebrating progress matters. These principles sound simple, but applied consistently, they become life-changing. Why tiny habits beat extreme changes. A common mistake is trying to transform life overnight. People suddenly attempt 4-hour workouts, extreme diets, massive productivity schedules, unrealistic study routines. Then burnout happens. Tiny, sustainable habits often work better. Why? Because consistency matters more than intensity. Reading 10 pages daily may seem small, but over a year that becomes thousands of pages. Saving small amounts consistently builds financial habits. Posting content regularly builds audiences. Tiny actions repeated long enough create identity transformation. That's the power of Atomic Habits. The hidden power of habit stacking. One powerful strategy is habit stacking. This means attaching new habits to existing routines. For example, after brushing teeth, meditate for 2 minutes. After breakfast, review goals. After work, exercise. After studying, summarize lessons learned. Linking habits together creates behavioral momentum. This reduces mental resistance because the brain prefers predictable routines. Habit stacking makes consistency easier. Why bad habits are hard to break. Bad habits often survive because they provide immediate rewards. For example, social media gives instant dopamine. Junk food creates temporary pleasure. Procrastination provides short-term relief. The problem is many good habits provide delayed rewards. Exercise hurts initially. Saving money reduces short-term spending pleasure. Studying requires effort before results appear. This creates psychological conflict. That's why long-term thinking becomes critical. Successful people learn to prioritize delayed rewards over instant gratification. And in today's distraction-heavy world, that skill has become increasingly valuable. How technology affects modern habits. In 2026, technology shapes habits constantly. Apps, notifications, algorithms, AI systems, and social media platforms compete aggressively for attention. That means intentional habit design matters more now than ever before. Without awareness, people easily develop constant distraction, reduced focus, short attention spans, productivity issues, sleep disruption. But technology can also support good habits when used intentionally. Habit tracking apps, productivity tools, AI study assistants, financial automation, learning platforms, calendar systems. Technology amplifies habits. The question is whether it amplifies productive or destructive behaviors. How to start rebuilding your life through habits. So how do you apply all this practically? 1. Start extremely small. Small, consistent actions beat unrealistic plans. 2. Focus on systems, not just goals. Design routines that support success automatically. 3. Build identity-based habits. Become the type of person who naturally performs the behavior. 4. Redesign your environment. Make good habits easier and bad habits harder. 5. Track progress. Visible progress increases motivation and accountability. 6. Be patient. Habits compound slowly before results become obvious. Why habits shape destiny. At first glance, habits seem small, insignificant even. But habits shape health, wealth, discipline, career growth, relationships, confidence, productivity, opportunities. Your future is often hidden inside your daily routines. That's why successful people protect their habits carefully. Because repeated behaviors eventually become lifestyle, and lifestyle shapes destiny. Conclusion. At the end of the day, massive life change rarely happens overnight. It usually happens quietly. Through tiny decisions, daily routines, consistent systems, repeated behaviors, long-term discipline. That's the architecture of atomic habits. And the most powerful part is this. You do not need to completely transform your life today. You simply need to improve consistently. Because small changes may feel invisible in the moment, but compounded over time, they can completely reshape your future. So stop waiting for perfect motivation. Focus on systems. Focus on consistency. Focus on identity. Focus on tiny improvements repeated daily. Because success is often not one giant breakthrough. It's thousands of small habits working together over time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone working on becoming a better version of themselves. And comment below, what small habit changed your life the most? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.